This is a preview of Chapter 1 of Wayward Mail Order Bride. It is available on Kindle, Nook, iBooks, Kobo and more. Click on the link to download. Chapter 1. Everybody in Franklin, Ohio came to the wedding of their pastor, Gideon Wallace, and his Irish lass Catherine Wallace. Gideon couldn't officiate over his own wedding, of course, so Reverend Horton Ballard came in from Shelby. The ceremony was brief but biblical, drawing on the works of St. Peter. Afterward, the city spilled out onto the property around the church, where there was a feast of roasted goose, stuffing, steaks, creamed potatoes, and much more. Ida danced with Horatio, play-acting at the romance they hoped would carry them through the rest of their lives. They'd almost lost each other, and it was a relief just to be together, young hearts beating. Gideon watched them from the table near the side of the yard, the autumn chill not ready to surrender to winter. Catherine slipped up next to him, her curly red hair piled on her head, ringlets dangling down over her ears. "Reverend Gideon," Catherine said coyly. He smiled gently as they kissed. "Good day, Mrs. Wallace." "Everybody seems to be enjoying themselves," Catherine said as the two of them watched Ida dancing with Horatio. "It's quite a festive season, and we haven't even celebrated Thanksgiving yet. And people think New York is exciting. We've much to see." "Indeed we do." "Congratulations!" They turned to see Balthazar and Selma Brooks, Horatio's parents. Selma's stern expression was bent into a smile while her husband Bao, much more comfortable with happy expressions, was grinning from ear to ear. Selma went on, "Blessings on a long and happy life together." "That's so kind of you, Selma," Catherine said. "And thank you again for all your help. I couldn't have done it without you." Belle said, "It was a blessing. We're grateful for the opportunity to undo some of the damage we did." Catherine didn't have to think too hard or too long that Selma was referring to a series of rude meetings and a general air of judgment on her part. But Catherine had won Selma's respect, and Selma had come to understand that she was blaming Catherine for problems she was having with Ida and her own boy. Selma had been afraid that Ida's dreams of a singing career would lure Horatio away from the farm, away from Franklin, and away from her. But Catherine had managed to keep the family together, and that had helped keep Horatio and Ida together and in Franklin, for the time being at least. "We'll be dancing at their wedding soon enough." "I hope so," Selma replied. Catherine said, "I hear the theater troupe has finally arrived. I wonder when they'll have it open." "Such a thing," Selma said, shaking her head. "A theater?" Belle said, "A theater needn't be a blight on the town. Shakespeare is considered classic." "Shakespeare?" Selma said in a shocked and offended voice. "Incest, rape, murder, classic, indeed." "Wife," Belle said, "language." Selma turned to watch Ida dancing with Horatio. "I'd hate to think of our little Ida in such company." Catherine tried to hide her smile. "Ida is a headstrong girl, and a gifted singer whose talent won't be silenced, Selma. Better that she stay here and sing than go off somewhere else, like New York City with your Horatio in tow." "I suppose," Selma said. "Excuse me," a familiar voice said from their left. Catherine and the others turned to see Sheriff Silas Vance approaching with his deputy, big bald Bruno Bauer. "Not at all," Gideon said. "I only wish you'd accepted our invitation." "Had to be on duty," Sheriff Vance said. "But we did want to come in, let you both know we're happy for you." Catherine looked closer at the sheriff and his deputy. By their hardened expression, rugged and dust-worn, it was hard for her to imagine them ever being happy about anything. Daisy Farina and her husband Ralph approached, Daisy leaning back slightly to support her growing pregnancy. Catherine asked, "You two having fun?" "Very much," Daisy said, straining to smile. "I should probably sit down." Ralph attended to his wife, his red hair combed back. "And Catherine, thanks, more than a pleasure," Catherine said, her Irish brogue subtle but unmistakable. "The children are a joy." "Some that aren't so little can be a real handful," Daisy said. "But be strong with them and you'll do fine." Catherine smiled. "As long as I have you to go to for advice, I shan't worry about a thing." But looking back at the two dancing youngsters, Ida and Horatio, Catherine knew there would probably be much to worry about. Above everyone's heads gray clouds rolled over Franklin, and a distant rumbling was heard, suggesting a storm to come. Thank you for listening to this preview of Chapter 1 of Wayward Mail Order Bride 2. If you want to learn